Hello and happy Easter. I hope you're having a beautiful Easter season despite the circumstances, despite the virus and the quarantine. I want to get right into this video because it's probably going to be a bit long. BethAnne from the channel #Catholic created a video about 40 things that she is grateful for because she's been quarantined for 40 days. I believe she posted her video right after she'd been quarantined for 40 days. I've been quarantined for over 40 days, but I just love this idea. So I'm going to share 40 things that I am grateful for. I am so grateful for my husband. I love my husband so much. I mean, I don't want to give off the impression that our marriage is perfect. No relationship is 100% sunshine and rainbows, but my husband makes me laugh every single day. I'm just so grateful for him. I am also grateful to be quarantined with him. I tell him all the time, I am so grateful that I'm quarantined with you. I mean, I have amazing people in my life. I love so many people in my life, but he is the one person that I just love being quarantined with. We laugh every day, and yeah, I just love our marriage. I'm so blessed in that area of my life. I'm so grateful for my dog, Scruffy. If you want to see more of him, he has his own channel called Scruffy and Me. Every day, you know, dogs just give you so much love, unconditional love. He's so happy every day for just food and going on walks. And that's another thing I'm grateful for is dog walks. I am a bit of a couch potato. I've shared about that on my channel. I've tried so many different workouts, you know, P90X and yoga and Pilates and just so many different things, trying to motivate myself to get into working out. You know, I even tried running. I was on a track team when I was a kid, just trying to be an athlete, but I'm just not. I'm a couch potato. And my dog really has been the best motivator to get me moving. I walk him every single day, multiple times a day, and I love just walking with him, and I need that exercise, and he pushes me to exercise. On the topic of dogs, even though this quarantine is hard and this virus is terrible, I'm so grateful that people are adopting dogs left and right. My local county shelter where I got my dog Scruffy a few years ago in 2017 currently only has about 10 dogs available for adoption. When I adopted Scruffy, there were pages and pages of dogs, like 30 pages of dogs. The last time I went online to see how many dogs were available at that shelter, it was just 2 pages. It was just about 10 dogs. So I think that's so beautiful, and I hope that everyone adopting, you know, when life goes back to normal, I hope they figure out their schedule and everything and are able to keep those dogs and do not release them back into the shelters. My local county shelter also waived adoption fees, so it's free to adopt a dog from my local county shelter. I think that's awesome. I'm also so grateful for the gift of technology. I say prayers of thanksgiving to God for the gift of technology all the time, and I'm especially grateful for virtual Mass. It is certainly not comparable to receiving Jesus in the Eucharist, in person, at Mass, but it is still beautiful that Catholics around the world can participate in Mass in some way from home virtually. And I am also grateful for the beautiful spiritual communion that we can make when we are at home. The act of making a spiritual communion actually made me so emotional, even way before this quarantine, because when someone recognizes that they're not worthy to receive at that time and they stay back in the pews and make a spiritual communion, I think that is just so beautiful because you can share that longing with Jesus. You know, Jesus longs to be united with you and you long to be united with him. And when you offer up that longing, you also share in the longing that Jesus has for so many souls in the world who don't long to be united with him. And I just think it's so beautiful. Sometimes when I talk about it, you know, I was explaining how I felt about it to a friend months ago, way before this quarantine, and I got emotional. I was like starting to cry. So I'm so grateful that we are able to make a beautiful act of spiritual communion. I am also grateful for my local parish priest. He has been amazing with serving his flock and providing the sacraments to his flock. I believe the only week that he did not have little masses of 10 people, 8 parishioners, himself and a deacon, was for Holy Week. But before Holy Week and after Holy Week, he's been doing these little 10-person masses safely every single day, and he streams all of them online for everyone to see. He's following the bishop and the CDC guidelines, but within those guidelines, providing so much to his flock. Confession has always been available. He's just doing an amazing job. God bless him. I'm also grateful for my parish's local food bank. It was one of the first food banks established in my city. And, when they were running low at the beginning of this quarantine, they had a drive and a ton of volunteers showed up and donated food. And they were so stocked up that they sent an email out to everyone letting them know that, okay, we're all stocked up, we don't need anything else. And I just think that's so beautiful. It just makes me so joyful that there are so many people in my city that are willing to help, and that service is available to people who are in need in my city. I probably should have mentioned this first as my number one thing I'm grateful for, but I'm so grateful for God's gifts of peace. Jesus is the Prince of Peace, and for his gift of salvation. I have so much consolation because I live in the Lord's peace. I have a video on how to live in Christ's peace, and it's such a beautiful time to be Catholic because I'm not stressed, I'm not scared of the virus. Of course, I am very, very careful, but I have peace because I'm Catholic and I know that God loves me. And, if it is my time to leave this world, I'm going to heaven or purgatory. And if it's not my time to leave this world, I know that God has a plan for me and God will take care of me. So, if you are not Catholic, I just encourage you to check out my playlist on why I'm Catholic. And I just pray that if you're watching this video, that you rest in God's salvation and his peace. I'm also grateful that on Friday, May 1st, the USCCB is renewing our country's consecration to Mary, and Canada is as well. So Canada and the United States are reconsecrating together. And on Friday, May 1st, you can join in live on this prayer of reconsecration. If you're on the West Coast, I believe it is at noon. So that would be the earliest, so if you're more east in the country, you have a little more time. Anyway, so if you're free or you're not working, you can join in and you can pray for Mary's intercession for the vulnerable, for the sick, and for a cure for COVID-19. I'm also grateful for services like Zoom and Skype. I love using those services to meet up with people virtually during this quarantine. I'm grateful for my local women's group. I meet them every week, once a week, and we alternate between rosaries and Bible studies. We meet on either Zoom or Skype, and I am so grateful for them. I'm also grateful for all of the friends and family in my life all over the country and in Peru. My husband swaps pictures of food and just catching up with family in Peru, and we've done some Zoom meetings with various friends, and that has been a lot of fun and such a blessing. I'm also grateful for my YouTuber virtual friends. A few of us did a Zoom meeting, I believe it was last week, and that was awesome to meet up with them. I believe Audrey put up a message and said, hey, we should do a Zoom meeting and get together. Audrey is the Fit and Fearless and Faithful Mom on YouTube. And then we used Lisa's account on Zoom. Lisa is the Catholic Marathon Mom, and it was just so awesome to see them and talk to them. I'm also so grateful for the rosary. I know the Mass is the most powerful prayer, but the rosary is also extremely powerful, and we don't need anyone or anything to pray it. we can pray it right in our homes every single day during this quarantine. I'm also so grateful for Facebook Marketplace. My husband has been selling our furniture left and right because we are downsizing, because we are moving. And so it is just awesome that, people are not going out in stores, but we're still shopping via Facebook Marketplace. We can do this very safely. My husband accepts the payment via Venmo or PayPal and just places the item outside and, monitors it out the window, and they'll text like, okay, that's me pulling up. And then they pick up their item, and then they can be careful and wipe it down and wash it. I know I've mentioned here and there on my channel that I'm moving, I'm in a transition period, but now that is really happening. Like, the move has been set in motion. So the next thing I'm grateful for is our realtor. We texted our realtor because she's actually a personal friend of ours. My husband's friend from grad school is her cousin. So she helped us find this property, and she's also going to help us sell it. And so when we texted her, she called us that day and set everything in motion. She's so good at her job and so quick. So I'm very grateful for her. And again, with technology, I am so grateful that we are able to post a virtual tour of our home online. So only serious buyers who really, see themselves in this home will come take an in-person visit, because we are in quarantine, we're in the middle of this outbreak, and we want to be safe. And so that virtual tour enables someone to check out the house, and if they're not interested, they don't need to come over, and we don't need to put ourselves at risk. But the few buyers that do come in, we will take all the precautions to be safe, and we'll just leave the house when they come. And when they come, I'll just wipe everything down with Clorox wipes, and they know not to touch anything anyway, so don't worry about that. Speaking of homes, I'm just so grateful to have a roof over my head. I've always been grateful for having a roof over my head. I'm a musician. I know what it is to be struggling financially, and I've just always had a roof over my head, and I'm so grateful for that. I am so going to miss this home. Before we lived here, my husband and I lived in a pretty expensive college town. So we were in a 1-bedroom apartment, and I actually loved it. There were so many perks. I could vacuum the whole thing from one outlet. There was a clubhouse with like free breakfast. If anything broke, I just called and they would fix it. So, every home comes with pros and cons, but moving here to this city with a very low cost of living, it made the most sense for us to buy this home. Not that we need this much space, but because we knew it would be easy to sell when the time came, and it was just a good financial decision for us to build up some equity and be able to walk away with some money. It's a financial investment. So my husband and I, we really don't need this much space, but I will certainly miss this home. I have never had, such a big bed. My husband really wanted a big king size bed, and he made that bed for us. I've never had a bathroom with a his and her sink, and I've never had a walk-in closet. This is my first time having a pantry. Normally I'm just stuffing all my, pasta and beans into cupboards. It was so nice to have a pantry. I'm also gonna miss the little cubbies with the bench. I thought that was adorable. I love that little cubby area, and also my kitchen. Oh, I love my kitchen. But it's time to go, and I am so happy for the next people who move in, whoever that may be. We took such great care of this home, so I know whoever moves in, they're gonna love it. I'm also grateful for the app Duolingo. It is a free app, and I love it. My goal is to finish all of the Spanish lessons on that app before this quarantine is over. I have been working on my Spanish for years. Every time I go to Peru or spend a long period of time with my in-laws, my Spanish improves a little bit, but I'm just like, okay, Kristen, come on. Like, you have got to significantly improve your Spanish. It's like, I'm almost there, you know? So I think with this extra time that I have for the quarantine, I can really improve my Spanish via Duolingo. So I am loving it, and I encourage you to also learn a new language on Duolingo. And I know I've already mentioned this on my channel, but I am grateful for the podcast The Office Ladies. I love the show The Office. Maybe it's because I've worked in so many offices, you know, in different states. Like, I've had so many different types of coworkers in an office setting that I think I just can relate to the show. You know, any type of coworker or situation is just so exaggerated in The Office, and I just find it hilarious. So I love the podcast, The Office Ladies, because I like to hear all the little Easter eggs, you know, all the background fun info, and then watch an episode, and it's just great fun. And it's one episode a week, so it's not like a big time commitment. And I don't even like podcasts generally, but I love The Office Ladies. Speaking of laughing, I just want to share that I am so grateful for clean comedians. I will mention my top 3 favorite clean comedians. First is Sebastian Maniscalco. He is hilarious. I wouldn't say he's 100% clean because he does curse at times, but for the most part, the topics that he talks about are very clean. You know, he talks a lot about family and just the funny situations between different generations. And I really think anyone can relate to him. He just makes fun of people, but it's not in a super critical way. It's just in a lighthearted, funny way. An example is, you know, from his name, you can probably tell he's Italian. If you ever go to Italy, you'll notice that they dress very well. Like, they are always put together. I mean, even at the beach, like, I saw Italians, you know, who would swim and dry off at the beach, and they would not go back and walk on the street in their beachwear. They would put on like a gorgeous outfit and put their beachwear in their bag, you know, closed-toed shoes, socks, button-down shirt. And, you know, in the US, like, it won't even be beach season, or you won't even be near a beach, and everyone's like in flip-flops and like clothes just like falling off of them. Anyway, so someone like Sebastian Maniscalco, who's Italian and always dresses well, you know, he has a funny bit about like going in the airport and seeing people in their pajamas, and he's like, there should be a dress code for the airport, and it's just hilarious. So I hope you check him out. Another clean comedian that I love is Jim Gaffigan. If you're Catholic, you might already know about him because he's Catholic, and he opened for the Pope in New York when Pope Francis came to the US. He is hilarious. I love how he'll take one joke and you think he's kind of done with that topic, and he just like keeps going with that topic forever. And then he makes fun of himself, you know, for going too long on that topic, you know, on like Hot Pockets or cake. He's so fun. Definitely check him out. Also, Melissa Villaseñor, she is hilarious. So grateful for her. She is really gifted at impersonations. It's amazing how she can just contort her face to the person that she's impersonating. She impersonates Gwen Stefani so well. She does that face that Gwen makes all the time. She impersonates Owen Wilson amazingly well. Oh my goodness, check her out. She posted a lot of her stand-up for free on YouTube as well. Anyway, I hope you check out these comedians. I really do believe laughter is the best medicine. If you're feeling down, definitely give yourself the gift of laughter. And there's so many more comedians that I could mention. You know, Jerry Seinfeld is like a classic. I love him. Also, Joe Coy is hilarious for me because I can really relate to all of the Filipino jokes that he has, but he is not clean at all. Sometimes he gets into vulgar topics, but still love him, love those Filipino jokes. Friends, this video is getting so long, so I'm going to end it here, but make sure to tune in for part 2 where I will share 15 more reasons why I am grateful. So I will see you then. Thanks for watching. God bless. Bye.